DIYers, hey, what's going on, Mike Boards with the Mike Boards channel? Thank you for watching. Hey, in the event that your shower diverter is stuck out or open and not closing or retracting, we're going to show you what exactly happened to ours. And it might be what's happening to yours. Let's take a look. All right, DIYers, we have made our way to the table, and on the left-hand side is the old and just removed diverter, and it's in really bad shape. And I'm going to show you what exactly happened, and you will see the ultimate or culprit cause of why that diverter was not retracting and turning off. Or in other words, stuck in the closed position on the inner side, stuck in the open position on the outer side, and just not working. And to the right is a brand new cartridge or diverter stem, and I went ahead and carefully screwed in the shower pull cap portion here that we pulled off the old one during the removal process. I'm going to set this aside, and I'm going to reference this. And again, here is the old stem. I'm going to carefully remove this. And basically this allows you to remove that and install a special tool inside here to get a hold of this machine cut to ultimately loosen and remove during the removal and install process of an old diverter and installing a brand new one. So long story short, let's take a close look inside here. Look at that. There is a screw completely jammed inside there and alleviating the spring-loaded shaft, which is right here, and it feeds all the way inside this casing or housing here and extends out the back side here. However, again, that screw is completely jammed. Look at that, there's one side of it, and I can probably pull and push that out, but again, when this is inside the valve and you're taking a shower, it is absolutely impossible to get that screw unjammed and positioned back and screwed tight with the rubber seal, which is basically installed right here. And I will reference the new one here shortly, but again, I just wanted to show you how jammed that screw is. And that shaft or diverter is never going to retract in and configure itself where it operates as designed or properly. My goodness, very bad. How crazy is that? I'm going to set this aside and reference the brand new one. As you see here, again, I went and pulled off the shower pull from the old diverter that I just showed you and carefully screwed it tight on the new diverter. I'm going to take it off during the install. However, I installed it because I just wanted to show you the operation of this diverter. And when you are in the shower, you turn the hot and cold water valves on or handles on, and it begins the water flow out of the bottom spout. And when it comes time to pull the diverter out to send or divert the water up to the shower head, all you do is grab this portion or cap or pull and you pull it out. And as you can see what it does to the inner side. And again, you pull this out, and with the assistance of the internal water pressure inside the three-way valve, it pushes this rubber seal flush with the mating surface under spring-loaded tension or against the spring-loaded tension because the pressure of the water overpowers it, and the rubber seal mates with that mating surface there and creates a watertight seal in this configuration and diverts all water up the hose and to the upper shower head where it releases or flows out of the shower head itself. And when it comes time to turn the water or diverter off, you've got really two options. Number one, which most people do, including ourselves, and that is because it ultimately alleviates wear and tear on the diverter, is when we are done showering, all we do is turn the hot and cold water valves or handles to the off position. And what that does, again, the diverter is still in the open or pulled out position or configuration on the outer portion where you can see, in the closed and sealed position internally in the valve. And again, turning the hot and cold water valves or handles off, it relieves the internal pressure on the inner side here and ultimately releases that pressure, and the diverter spring loads to the open position on the inner side and the closed position on the outer side where you can see it. And in the event that this screw gets loose and the rubber seal or gasket falls off, which it will, and gets stuck in a position or positioned inside the water valve, it's not going to fix itself. And again, my goodness, that screw was able to basically over the years get loose and unscrew, and it allowed the rubber seal or gasket to fall off, and the screw basically just bounced around inside here, and thankfully, my goodness, thankfully did not fall inside the plumbing downstream. However, at that point, you really would never know where it ultimately ended. You would hope it would flush out and end up somewhere safe within the water supply of the system or city system where they can cycle it out through the screens. However, in our case, our screw not only did not flow downstream, it got jammed inside the fitting or housing here. And not good. So again, I just wanted to show you the overall operation of your diverter and why it is stuck in the open position. And that is because either you have a bent shaft or this entire internal spring-loaded mechanism with the screw and the rubber seal or gasket has malfunctioned, and it is not going to fix itself, as I have mentioned before. And it is time to fix this or replace it. And scrolling above right now, as well as down below in the comments and description, will be a link on how to properly and safely replace your diverter. It's important to do it the right way, because if you do it the wrong way, you could damage additional parts in the surrounding area of your valve, and that's not what you want. And in addition, even worse, or equally as worse, is you can create and start a big water leak inside your home. DIYers, not what you want. So again, just wanted to show you that. However, before we wrap the video up, option number 2, as I mentioned, you do have 2 options to turn off the diverter. And what we do again is just turn off the hot and cold and release the water pressure, and the diverter just spring loads closed on the outer portion automatically due to lack of water pressure. But the second one is when the hot and cold water handles are on and the water pressure is present on this side, pressing the rubber seal flush with the main surface of that housing and creating that watertight seal, is you can carefully push on the outer portion here, or the pull, and push it in, and it's going to open up or release the water and seal on this portion, which ultimately will alleviate the water from being continuously fed upstream and out of the shower head. However, I will say, over time, doing it that way or the second way creates a lot of stress on the internal portion. So I would just recommend turning the water valves on and allowing the diverter to spring load open on the inner side and closed on the outer side as shown here. And again, a quick view of the old diverter. And this was never going to retract in and close on the outer and open on the inner, because again, that screw is jammed. All right, DIYers, we are making progress. Check this out. The brand new diverter is installed, and if I pull it out, it is now closed, or that rubber internal seal or gasket is mating flush with the inner housing and creating that watertight seal and sending the water upstream. However, the water is off, and as you can see, it spring loads to the open position inside or the closed position on the outer side where we have access or views to it. Down below in the comments and description will be a link on how to properly and safely replace that inner 3-way valve diverter. Again, there's a right way to do it and a wrong way to do it. However, from here we are going to turn both hot and cold water handles or valves on and check the overall efficiency and operation of that brand new installed diverter. And so far, everything is working as designed. And when that diverter is pulled out, and again closed on the inner portion, no water should be coming out of that tub spout. If it is, you've got an issue with either the cold stem or hot stem, or again, the inner diverter is not properly installed. And so far so good. I'm going to turn off the cold and turn off the hot, and the reduction in water pressure should ultimately allow the diverter to retract in. See that? Pretty aggressive spring load in. I'm going to turn everything back on. No water coming out of the diverter, basically just leaking. And I will turn on the diverter. Much better and working as designed. DIYers, that is it. From here, do us a favor below the video. You will see that thumbs up icon. Click on that, like the video, subscribe to the channel. Definitely ring your YouTube bell. That'd be very helpful to us. We'd really appreciate it.